Hey everybody, Brian Castro again from Front Half Full. Today I'm going to show you how to install your Tesla charger yourself in your home. So about 4 years ago I installed it in my 2-car garage myself, and the total cost with wire and all the different pieces that go to it was $84 out the door from the hardware store. So very cheap if you can do it yourself. Now, last time my run was only from my box here. I had to go out here, and then my 2-car garage is literally like right there on the other side of this wall. So the run was only like 5 feet of wire. At that time, wire was only about $5.75 a foot. So literally $84 for me to do it, and it just took me a couple hours. And yes, you have to take out your drywall. Yes, you have to cut it. Yes, you have to mud it back. But you use a level, right? And you cut the drywall straight, and so that when you put it back on, it's very easy, and then you just mud it and paint it, and it's done. So it is a little bit of effort, but it's totally worth it. Today, what I'm doing is I'm installing it in my 1-car garage, which is on the other side. So what I'm going to be doing, because my house is a little bit, I have a crawl space, I'm going to be able to go, let me get the camera here, I'm going to go down under the house, and I'm going to come over here to my 1-car garage on the other side of that. And so I'll show you that here in a second. But let me give you a quick snippet of my 2-car garage. Okay, so here's my 2-car garage, and here's the Tesla charger that I installed, my level 2 charger that came with the car. And of course, there's the outlet right there that I put in. And this is just on the other side of that wall where we just were. So again, only about a 5-foot run. And then when I park my car in here, I would just pull the cable and just charge it. So very easy. Okay, so now here's my 1-car garage. So you can see I've already started prepping for it, and I'm gonna have it right by my garage door. You see my car is right here, so right by the garage door. I'm gonna actually mount the holder on this wall, and then the charger itself, you can see I get to put a circle already. Let me zoom in. So there's the circle where I'm gonna have the outlet, and then again, the holder for the charger will be right there. And then I'm only, you can see here, I'm only about maybe 2.5 feet from the wall to the tail of my car where I'll be charging. So I've been meaning to do this for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I have some time this week. It's not very difficult, again, because I'm gonna be coming up underneath. As I was saying earlier, right, I'm gonna be coming up from, I'm gonna go down where my circuit breaker panel is. I'm gonna go under my crawl space. I'm gonna pop up inside here. As soon as I get this drywall off, I'm gonna cut it out right now, and I'll let you guys see what that looks like. Okay, so I got the piece out here. You can see the drywall cut out and got the insulation in. And here's my dryer vent. So you can see that right where we were right on the other side of this wall is my laundry room with that circuit breaker that I showed you. So I'm just going, probably a total of about 5 feet down on the other side, across the bottom of the floor, probably 7-8 feet. And then I'm up here, probably another 4 or 5 feet. So I'm gonna need, between 15 and 20 feet of wire. Again, I know, as I was saying before, the wire was $5.75 per foot. Like 3 or 4 years ago when I did this, I looked, and today it's about $7.25 a foot. So, a good $1.50 more per foot. So, but still much cheaper. And this is, very easy stuff, right? We're just connecting 3 wires, and it's not like a big deal. Kind of what we're doing. It's just the labor of it. I think that's what they charge you. So do not pay. Let me just flip this camera around. Do not pay like the tons of money that they charge you. I've heard some of my friends say they got charged like upwards of like $1,000 or $2,000 or $2,500 to do this. And it is crazy. I know my runs were pretty small. Max about 15, 20 feet, for this one is going to be, but still you're just running wire. I don't think it's like a very difficult thing to do. The most difficult things are going to be, cutting open your wall and kind of determining where you want it, and your circuit breaker and those pieces. So definitely worth it to do yourself if you can. Okay, so again, we are right here. Now this is my garage, right? So there is insulation, which is awesome. This is my dryer vent that I was showing you guys earlier, right? On the other side of the wall is my laundry room. And I need to bring a wire up here because I'm gonna come from underneath the house, and I'm gonna mount my charger right here, right? So you can see again on my circle, right? Which will work perfect. It'll fit just right here. I need to get this plywood out of the way. It's just held on with nails, so I'm gonna go get my saw, and I'm just gonna, I don't need to make a big hole. I just need to just cut out a little, so I can just see in here. That's all I need to do, because when I pull the wire up, and then I'm gonna use a paddle drill. Of course, I'm gonna drill a little, 1-inch hole through this 2x4, very simple, just so I can pull the wire through and plug it into my port that'll sit right here, okay? So very simple, but I just need to get through this real quick so I can see. And you can see it's just hollow behind here, right? It's just held on with some nails. That's just your standard plywood to hold in, okay? Okay, I got through. I just cut that square out. You can see, so it'll be very easy to put back on. And now you can see, this is from under my house. I'm gonna move the light away so it's not so glary, but you can see now there's cement there. So now I need to go from under my house, and I'm just gonna use my paddle drill. So again, here's my paddle drill. So that's what I mean when I say a paddle drill. It creates a 1-inch hole for the wire. And I'm gonna drill from underneath, and I'm gonna drill through this wood here, this other side of the, I believe it's 5/8 plywood. I don't think it's 3. I think for garages, they have to do the 5/8. You can see it's a little thicker. I'm just gonna drill a hole through there and run my wire, and then paddle drill a hole right here in this 2x4, and come right up. So this is just all the prep so that you know exactly what you're, where you're running your wire. Okay, so I'm through here. Let me just zoom here and show you I'm gonna go underneath the house now, and I'm gonna see where my drill is sticking out. Again, just so for measurements and just if I need to drill out any more, but yeah, you can see it's there. It's all the way through now. Okay, so what I've done here is got a hanger, of course, that's the best tool. And you can see I've shoved the hanger through, and we'll push it through. You see it's moving freely. So that means I'm down in there. So let's go and look in the base, in the crawl space. Okay, here we are in the crawl space again, and here is my hanger wire. So you can see it's coming out right there. So I'm just gonna use my knife and cut out some of this foam until I get to that hole there where my hanger is coming out. So I went at an angle up top just to make sure it was coming down, and I guess I could have gone straight. See, you don't know when you're drilling like how much space you have. So you can see here that I could have just gone totally straight. I probably would have come out more like up there versus down here, but either way it works, not a big deal. All right, let me get this hole cut out. All right, so I just dug it out real quick, and you can see again, it's moving freely. That's up in my 1-car garage, and you can see right through it. So I could just pull this all the way out, but you can see where we drilled. Very easy to feed that wire, a 1-inch hole all the way, so no issues. Let me get closer. Let me zoom in, and there's the hole that we drilled. All right, I wanted to show everybody here again. See, as I was saying, the vent here and then the big return inside the wall. And it's separated just by that 2x4. So I'm gonna need, again, just to paddle, put a paddle, 1-inch paddle hole in that 2x4 to run my wire down. So again, use all of your landmarks when you're doing this, right? I know that's my vent, I know that's my return, I saw them from underneath, so I know exactly, I see all my wires coming down. Make sure you're paying attention when you're doing this just to make it easier on yourself. So again, okay, so here's my new hole I just drilled with my paddle drill. So straight down through this 2x4 and straight down there. So now I'm just gonna feed my wire. Okay, and here's my 6-gauge, called a 6-3 wire, right? It has your 3 wires plus your ground. Look at that. So this is our NEMA outlet. This is what the charger will plug into. This is your box that goes inside the wall. This is the circuit breakers. So when you're buying circuit breakers, when you're looking at your box, it's made for a specific brand, for a specific style. So this is an Eaton, E-A-T-O-N, and these are all Eaton breakers. So you'll need to make sure that when you're looking at your specific, that you get one made for yours. These are the wire holders that go on your box. And then this is the nice wall plate that goes on the outside. So that is everything that you will need to get your Tesla charger up and running. Okay, so now I'm under my house. You can see here's the my new wire, right? So there's my hole that I drilled straight down, in between again, right? It shows you it's right between the vent and the cold air intake. So then my wire runs over here, and I have it run through the wood here as it's supposed to. So it's coming over here, and then I punched out another hole so it goes through there and the other rafter, and then it goes right up into the one-car garage. So I've already got it run, and it's perfect. As you can see, it's kind of out of the way and being held up just like it's supposed to be done. And we'll now get it going over there. Alrighty, came upstairs, and here's my wire poking out. I have way more, as you can see. So again, I bought extra. I probably could have gotten away with 17 feet, but I bought 18 feet just to give the slack and just to make sure we're all good on both sides. Okay, so getting closer. I have now stripped the edges of these, so we're gonna need to do that. And then I drilled my hole through. This 2x4 is actually two 2x4s, so I drilled, it was double deep. So, and then there's my wire in there, you can see coming out, and it comes right up through here, and now it'll be right here. So getting closer. Okay, we're ready to put our wire in here, and you have these little clamps that go in, and that's this clamp that I have here. So you feed it from underneath, and then you screw on the top part there in that little hole that I punched out, and then you tighten, you feed your wire through here, and then you just tighten these, okay? So very simple. One thing I wanted to say is this is still live, okay? I haven't turned the house power off yet, and I won't do that until the very last second. I'll turn the house power off, click this in, turn the house power back on, so it'll only be off for about 30 seconds, right? But just know when you're working here, just be careful. Okay, everything is still live, okay? But I just fed my wires through very carefully. Just have them sticking away from the units there. What I do, just to make it easier, is, you know, I have my little screw top here. I feed that over, but I put this on first, right? Don't put this in there and then try and feed your wire through it. You'll struggle with it. So put it on here first, and then just feed this up in there, and then screw that on. Okay, once you get this in, the way to tighten it is you get a flathead screwdriver and you put it on one of these little notches here, right? So you put it on, you know, let me just zoom in there, see if it, okay, see that notch there? So you'll put your flathead screwdriver like on that notch, and then you'll hit the end of this with your hammer, right? And it just turns this, and you just keep turning it, you keep hitting it real, you know, tapping on it, and it'll keep turning and it'll tighten it. Okay, next step is to put the circuit breaker on. So it has a red and a black are the two wires you want to put on this circuit breaker. So it doesn't matter what side they go on, just put them on either way, it does not matter. Okay, so now I've mounted my box here with my wire behind there, and I've stripped these, and now I'm gonna put my, I'm gonna clip the wires into this guy, which is your NEMA 1450, and that'll be the next step. Okay, I just wanted to show you this too. So again, you have 4 wires, right? You have a red, black, you have a white, and you have your ground. So when you look at the back of your NEMA, you can see it's pretty simple, right? The 2 golds are your red and black. The white, or the silver, is your white, and the green over here is your little ground wire by itself, okay? So that's how you put these in. And you see you feed the wire in the hole, and then you tighten down the screw, okay? You don't put the wire around the screw, okay? Okay, so I put the wires on the back. You can see my wire here running right down here, and then I put this on. Now this wire is very tough, so when you're feeding it in here, do not get frustrated. Just, you know, use some pliers if you need to grab the wires, to manipulate them a little bit, to bend them, and then just get this in, and now this is not going anywhere, right? I mean, it's super tight on there, and then the little cover plate will go on. But now what we're going to do is we're going to measure. Right here's where my circle was, so now I'm just going to measure real quick. I'm going to cut this out here, and then I'll cut it out of here, and we'll lay this on, and we're done. Okay, so I'm putting everything back on. Here's the insulation that goes underneath there, then this piece. So I cut out the little piece. You can see I cut it, you just measure. So I measured it here, measured it there, just cut a little square out, and it fits perfect, right? So it looks very nice. And then I'm just putting the screws back in here, and then I'll put the last piece on down here, and we're good for this part. Okay, I've got the power shut off, and I'm done here. So I have my new Tesla 1-car garage. This is my 2-car garage. I went ahead and turned that off because I'm not even going to be using that anymore. I only parked my car in the 1-car garage. I'll turn this on after I turn the power to the house on. You see my white wire is here, and I have my white wire going right there. And then I have my ground wire coming out of here, which is this one here, and goes here, and it actually ended up going right there next to it. So all my wires are now in here, and I have both of my Tesla 50 amp chargers in here. Okay, I have the power to the house on now. You can see I still have both of them off. I'm gonna flip this one on. And now that's my 1-car garage. And again, I'm leaving my 2-car garage turned off for right now, but now that's on. So now we'll go plug the car in and check it. Okay, so here's my level 2 charger. Just gonna plug this in. Sorry, so it's on right away. So that's great. All right, now let's plug it into the car. Gotta wake the car here. Come on, car, wake up. It's been in sleep mode. There, now let's open the door. There it goes. Okay, so now here goes the charger. Okay, charger's in, and you can see starting to charge, so we are good. Okay, so we are all done. So now I just need to put the cover back on, and I have all the drywall here. You see, I just gotta mud it and paint it. That's the easy part. So here is the cover, and the fun part is now I get to knock out these 2 pieces here. So let me lift this up, set it up here. So I get to knock out these 2 pieces here, right? And just like I have when I did my other one for my 2-car, I just wrote Tesla because those are both of those. And now I'll knock out these 2. Just because of the way it sits, you'll see it sits kind of one down over, so that's why. So this will be Tesla, this will be Tesla. And I'll just pop that out there, and I'll pop that out there, and so I can put it on. Okay, got it all bolted in, and there's my new Tesla 1-car and then 2-car garage. 2-car garage currently turned off. We're done.